You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. A cold shoulder awaits. According to the Daily Mail in an article by Kate Mancy, royals plan to give Harry and Harry's wife the cold shoulder at the coronation and hope they are seated in Iceland. Duke and Duchess will have no place on balcony, and family members don't want to socialise with them, say friends. Well, all of that makes perfect sense. First of all, having been expertly advised as to the way that they ought to handle them, although the appropriate thing would be not to invite them in the first place, it may well be the case that there is an advantage of inviting them, because, as I've mentioned previously, if they turn it down, they're seen as being churlish, and if they attend, it provides the opportunity to cold shoulder them and essentially ignore them by maintaining a near no-contact regime with them. That, of course, will cheese off Harry, but will wound Harry's wife. There'll be repeated wounding. She believes that she belongs on the balcony. Remember, of course, even though she's a rampant hypocrite who doesn't want anything to do with the royal family, she wants all the benefits without the responsibilities. She wants to be able to go to the coronation. She wants to appear on the balcony. And, because of the way that her narcissism operates, she doesn't feel any embarrassment or shame at turning up on the balcony if she were allowed and waving to the crowd. I know many of you will be thinking to yourself, for goodness sake, if that were me, I just wouldn't have the brass neck to go and stand on the balcony after everything that I'd said about this family. But remember, Harry's wife doesn't think in the way that she does. She believes, driven by her narcissism, that whatever she said in the past, if she remembers it at all, has been justified because of the way she has been treated, because she is the victim. And therefore she is entitled to go on the balcony because, after all, it's the least that they should do for her as a consequence of the unpleasant treatment that she's been subjected to. Indeed, they ought to be getting down on all fours and bowing and giving her thanks for coming, that she's showing such grace at attending after their despicable behaviour towards her. Of course, should she attend, and she's likely to do so, because her narcissism will want to, because of the prime aims being attended to so magnificently by such an attendance, it provides the royal family with an excellent opportunity to wound her and wound her repeatedly. By not allowing her to stand on the balcony, massive wounding. By not interacting with her, substantial wounding. By relegating her to Iceland and Rosette, substantial wounding. By not talking to her and turning away from her, substantial wounding. Wound, 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 wound. What more does the article tell us about this potential for a cold shoulder or 7? Members of the royal family are hoping that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will be seated in Iceland if they attend the coronation service as expected. Harry and Harry's wife have been invited and are expected to be at the event on May 6th. But many family members are privately telling friends that they will give them the cold shoulder. The Sussex's children are considered by palace officials to be too young to attend the ceremony at Westminster Abbey, and therefore are not to be invited. That, of course, will wound Harry's wife, because even though it is not an event for such two young children, her narcissism does not see it that way. Because they are an extension of her, the failure to invite them impacts upon her and would, of course, cause further wounding. The couple are expected to spend part of the day with Archie, who turns 4 on May the 6th, and Lilibet also, now styled Prince and Princess, as they celebrate their son's birthday. Harry and Harry's wife will not be invited to take part in the official balcony appearance. Failure to invite will wound, and on the day, failure to be on the balcony will wound. And many members of the family, quite rightly, have no wish to socialise with the couple, because 1, that would be part of an excellent no-contact regime, and 2, why the dickens would you want to spend time with two people who have spent their time slagging you off? You wouldn't, would you? Unless, of course, you want to go over and headbutt them. A friend of the family said, "They will be given the cold shoulder by very many relatives." One said to me, "I hope they'll be seated in Iceland." Nothing against the country, of course, nothing against the chain of frozen food shops, but simply a reference, of course, to freezing them out. Many of the family just want nothing more to do with them. If they have to see them at the coronation, then so be it, but they do not want to socialise with them. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have waged a campaign against their own family in a series of media interviews since quitting their royal duties 3 years ago. Last week, Prince Harry appeared in a televised interview with controversial trauma therapist Gabor Mate, see parts passim, in which he said he had learned a new language of therapy, bollocks, but found that my family didn't speak that language. Well, no, they're not as big a twat as you. Many in the royal family are now bracing themselves for the arrival of the Sussexes in less than 2 months as the countdown to the coronation continues. The couple are expected to stay at Frogmore Cottage during their visit. The lease on their home on the Windsor estate runs out at the end of March, but they have been allowed to keep it going for a few months while they sort out their belongings and arrange for them to be shipped to California. Accordingly, the expectation of giving them plenty of cold shoulder activity, which, as I have explained, is going to wound Harry's wife, and of course what will happen is she will complain that people have been unpleasant to her, unfair to her, and will once again play the victim. What about people's observations about this? Well, Cat123 from Australia states, why don't they read the room and stay home? Poses the question, and there are many answers to that from people. Balermo states they need more content. Joe from New Zealand states because it's the only way they will make money. Nobody will look at them twice if they weren't part of the royal family and appear at significant events. Chipperton explains they need the publicity to stay relevant in the States, and their link to royalty they believe makes them relevant. Hopefully our friends across the pond see right through them. Who cares? How will they make money and protect their privacy if they don't attend? Granny Ella, spot on. Samantha Sam, exactly, no one wants them to go to the coronation. Rugrat55, it's because unfortunately they have to stay relevant in order to maximise future earning potential. They won't get a good reception from the royal family or the public, and quite rightly so. Sarah, Netflix will probably insist that they attend as part of their contract. Remember, Netflix don't care if the footage shows them in a good or bad light. It just wants footage that will generate viewers. Speedy01, their egos won't let them. Carrie N, read the country. Ambrose555 writes, and seat them behind a large yellow candle again, please. Sassy writes, if they're travelling through the streets of the Abbey, I hope they see hundreds of placards saying, we want our privacy. Quick note, so it would be even worse for them than the Jubilee, yippee-ki-yay. Sanofa, you can't have a private conversation, or if you don't say or do exactly what the man-child wants, it will appear in the next volume of Wah. Mother Angel, the general public don't want them either. It's time they were exiled permanently. Once again, no sympathy or support to be found below the line, and Harry's wife will attend, but it's likely she's going to get plenty of cold shouldering, which will be a joy to analyse with the relevant video footage. We'll perhaps see similar behaviours to that which we saw in the service of booing. So, something to look forward to. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.